So that's how you do it.
Thank you, Looney. You're a
Yes.
great help. And we
we
are
had to
live.
You're alive! An error. Try hitting the refresh. Or, never mind.
Um,
Oh.
Because it killed that last live stream, so we have to go into a new one. No, let's see if this actually worked. And I just got a message that we are live.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So-
we are live. Yay!
People, plug this to the channels.
Plug this to your fans.
Goodness.
The whole world needs to hear.
Okay. So, anyways, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nate. You might know me as Pony8, Nathaniel, the Good Noodle, or any other combination of those things. Today, I'm joined by the Looney Turtle,
Hello, I'm here. I exist.
Joe Scout K9,
Yo, everybody.
and Taylor Bo McCardle, otherwise known as Kyle Busch Fan 51-2?
Kyle Busch 51 fan too. You were close, but
Close.
Ayo.
Yeah.
Otherwise known as the Starlight Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the facts as we know them. As of the writing of this document, at 1:46 p.m. on Saturday, March 14th, BabsCon is still going to happen from April 10th to the 12th at the Hyatt Regency SFO in Burlingame, California. Currently, a 3-week, if not longer, ban or bar has been placed on events in San Mateo County, where the hotel is, of over 250 people. This comes per the Mercury News. This is happening because of a beer-named virus that has killed 5,814 people out of, oh, that number's way off, but out of 155,000 plus cases worldwide. In the United States, there are over 2,000 cases, which have resulted in 55 deaths. In contrast to this, 49 people have made full recoveries, and over 74,000 patients worldwide have recovered. This may sound mostly like doom and gloom with most of those statistics, especially when you consider the mass panic happening and runs on stores for specific material like toilet paper happening around the world. Things do not look good. Now, let's circle back to the pony community. Where we are now, this community has been through a lot over the years. We've seen the rise and fall of conventions, we've had our fair share of drama, and we've been divided over who's best pony. Now more than ever, we need to rally the wagons, step up, and stand together as a community and a part of the world against this virus. We will support one another, and we will keep marching on. BabsCon or no BabsCon, we will practice 6-2-1 to the best of our ability. We will wash our hands and stay clean. We are going to beat this virus. We're going to come back stronger and united. Thank you. Now, I open the floor to your guys' opinions. I shall start with myself and work counterclockwise around in my order. So first up is Joe Scout K9.
Okay. Well, I live in California, so the virus is kind of a big deal here because this is where from my own research, is where it first entered the country. And I have gone through multiple epidemics and multiple pandemics, whether it be swine flu, Ebola, avian flu, and I've always taken it with a grain of salt. Do these illnesses cause problems? Yes. They are dangerous. They are bad, of course. But they're easy to stop. They're easy to prevent. We may not have an actual vaccine as of yet for this strand of coronavirus, but in the end, it's just a bad flu. I've had my flu shot at the beginning of flu season. I may not be prepared for corona, but my system's at least prepared for a flu. So I am a little bit more prepared to handle it. And I'm pretty sure hundreds, if not thousands of other people have done the same thing. So their immune system is at least ready to handle something and not get any worse. Hopefully. I'm just going off my own guesses at this. But just out of safety, I am careful. wash my hands, a shower a day, 6 hours of sleep, 6-2-1 rule. That's always been with me. It's always been with me, thanks to the conventions and lots of other wonderful people, and just plain wanting to be healthy and hygienic. And as a guy who actually does cough a lot because of some bad habits I have, I cover your mouths. Cover your mouths when you cough, sneeze. It's just plain common courtesy and just plain hygienic. It's an easy thing to beat if we all just not panic. That's the biggest. Panicking makes things worse. If we take this calmly and rationally, we'll get through this way easier. This is not a repeat of the Spanish flu when, well, if you look through any history, we were pretty unhygienic back then. So I'm not that worried. We live in a modern era with some of the greatest scientists and medical professionals in the world who are currently working to get us a vaccine to be healthy again. So BabsCon or no BabsCon, you'll still see me at cons. I still plan on making videos, and nothing is ever gonna stop me.
Thank you. A couple things that I'd like to pull from the comment section, thanks to one of our viewers, thank you very much, is the first cases were reported in Seattle, actually.
Oh.
And we've had
I stand corrected.
we also have a request to try and keep more to the ideal of support rather than like dejection of the general idea of the flu. I'm sorry, Joe, I'm not trying to rain on your parade, but
I understand. I understand.
yeah.
Apologies if I went a little off.
It's okay. One thing I would like to note, though, that actually did happen yesterday was, thanks to Canada, or some Canadians, they have isolated the coronavirus in COVID-19.
Thank you, you beautiful maple syrup loving boys. Love you.
Canada comes through once again.
Yep.
Oh, Canada. I had to.
Oh god.
And,
They're
Next.
so far behind.
anyways, moving around the circle, we've got the Looney Turtle, who's chewing.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Looney, you're muted.
We can't hear you, Looney.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
there it
Yeah,
is.
I was eating something in the background.
Sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all good. So, here in Utah, we don't have as many cases for the coronavirus. I think the number is at 4 or 5 people. And that's mostly due to us being a relatively medical based like this state has a lot of medical based backgrounds, especially with the help of the Utah U of U University. It's a medical school essentially. So we've done a lot of efforts to kind of contain the virus. And there's of course always going to be people encouraging us to wash our hands, cough in the bend of your elbow, not your hands, not your arm, the bend of your elbow, just to make sure that you are not coughing at people, thus spreading a virus, or you're not coughing on your hand and then shaking hands or high-fiving. You know, there's small things that we can do as people in this community to avoid the spread of a virus. And one of the common things that I've been hearing about the coronavirus is that it's just the flu. And that's not the case. It is a strain of flu virus, but we aren't ready for it. And so we as a community have to work to avoid increasing the amount of cases of it, avoid spreading the virus so that our medical teams can prepare to treat this. We're in this together, and like we can say the mortality rate's low, but that's still thousands of people that have the potential of passing away due to this virus, and we need to work together to avoid that number increasing. So yeah, that's my take.
Thank you, Looney.
Yeah, just real quick, Looney, you mentioned that it is a flu based, but this is it's just a very more extreme variant of the flu. That's what I meant from what Looney pointed out. I apologize if I didn't make that clear enough. I apologize. So yes, Looney was absolutely right in saying it. He just said it more efficiently than I did. So apologies if I had any confusion on my head.
It's all good, Joe. Um, One thing I would like to note is that I pulled this up in the as I was looking up my facts for the paper that I just wrote said earlier. We are actually. Oh, I was way off. I'm 4,000 people off actually. I was going to say earlier today that the containment rate for the coronavirus was actually over 50% in terms of people who have recovered versus overall cases, but it appears that is no longer true. Anyways, sorry for.
Is it better or
It's
worse?
now decreased, unfortunately. But
Oh dear.
let's just take a step back, breathe for a second, and then move on to
Inner
Taylor.
peace.
Taylor?
Oh, sorry, I was trying to think of something, but no. Yeah. Also, being from California with Joe, but being from the southern part,
He's from
it.
he's from
San Diego, or if you want to be even more specific, Coronado.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher than you up here in the valley of San Fernando and Santa Clarita. So yeah, I've we've dealt with the swine flu, H1N1, and the bird flu, which were all very bad flus. And I understand that there's a point that people get panicky whenever something comes their way when it's brought through the media. But for me, for a lot of people, I'm trying not to ramble here. I apologize. So,
it's all good.
um, there, oh God, my general speaking here is that has the media maybe overhyped this a bit much? I mean, we are getting more cases by the minute, but if I recall that another disease that we had over overshot this one like long ago. So,
Yeah.
but here in California, and sadly, I just learned that we had our first case of corona here in our valley. So, yeah, um, not good. But I think the important thing here is that people need to understand if you wash your hands, clean yourself every day, you'll be fine. But please don't give in to mass panic. Unfortunately, people have, but
Yeah.
if you don't give in the hysteria right now, I think you're better off preventing more disease, more of this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I will say this. The media did really pick up on this rather quickly, but I feel that the more time has gone on, the more they've actually proven themselves to be correct in that fashion. But
Correct.
there was a line said, for those of you who tune into the BabsCon live streams, at the last live stream, 6201, 6 hours of sleep, two proper meals a day, not Doritos, zero coughing on other people, and one shower.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I believe that that would be a great way to sort of help.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It works for us,
Yeah.
and I mean, so few people get sick at our cons.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that nobody gets sick at our cons, but I mean it's definitely reduced in the amount of spreading thanks to that just following those three simple rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when I was at HarmonyCon, like maybe a month ago, you wouldn't believe the amount of people that probably didn't follow this rule. And then I was at like two guest of honor panels, and I can just hear coughing like in the back, in the front. Like, you know, I'm not trying to have a problem with people that show up sick at a con, but you know what? Just try to maybe take better care of yourself instead of trying to put 100 of us more at risk here.
Mm.
Yeah, I've
It's
seen like vendors sell face masks. Where are those?
hmm
Now,
yeah. Sky gave me a mask for at HarmonyCon, and then actually some of you saw that on Twitter where I posted that,
yes,
so
I remember that.
it's helped.
Now, the one thing I will say is, and I meant to bring this up once we finished our rounds, but one thing that has been reminded of me by the audience member who is kindly commenting, thank you very much, Nan.
Hey, Nan.
So
Fine.
we've, especially I've noticed in America, I'm not sure about other countries, but the mass hysteria has really been brought into the stores. Like, people are buying things in bulk that they don't normally buy as much of. I'm going to start with Looney on this one. What do you have any thoughts on this?
Um, so actually, before this stream, I went over to a local store called Fresh Market, and there, like, some aisles were well stocked; they had everything, but you can see that there are a lot of people stocking up on things like toilet paper, on
Hand
some
sanitizer.
canned goods, hand sanitizers, just things trying to protect themselves when what they're also doing is creating a scarcity of products that maybe don't need to be scarce at this time. Um, like toilet paper, if
Mm-hmm.
you're order getting it
Mm-hmm.
as needed, it should last you months. So I don't think there's a necessity to grab like 5 containers and fill up entire carts of toilet paper. It's ridiculous. You're not really helping anyone by doing that. Just get what you need, not more than you need. Because when you get more than you need, you are preventing people who may actually need it from having access to those products.
Now, one thing I will say is I did find a picture, I believe on Joe's server actually, that someone posted, and it read something along the lines of don't buy things in bulk because the people who really will need them will come in later and won't find any of them. So just buy what you need. That's it.
And and something that I saw is really disheartening is there was a video floating around on Twitter of this old woman fighting with another woman that's got her cart full of toilet paper, and she's still fighting for more.
Yeah,
And it
I've seen
Oh,
the
takes
video.
no.
yeah, and there's the people around them that step in and say, "Hey, no, get out of here. She needs this." And I want to see more of that, where
Yeah.
you're stopping that kind of unnecessary
Panic.
purchase. So that's my take.
Thank you. I'll move to Taylor now.
Yeah, following up what Looney said, actually, I can relate to that story yesterday. So, um, yeah, people mass buying is so, it's a level of mentalness that I don't think is even necessary because, as, Loon said, that people are going to come in later and wanting, paper towels and toilet paper and all the other essentials that we kind of do need. And it's so unnecessary. Like, you're not like the only person that lives here on this earth. There's like over 100,000 more of us that rely on the essentials, and you're basically taking all of it away. And what are we supposed to do then? I mean, come on. Like, the other day I saw actually this one guy that had a full carton of um, tissue and toilet paper, and these two and this young couple just comes running up to this cart and just hijacks him. Like, what? Why?
Wow.
Why? It's
It's
the
unnecessary.
mentalness of people is so getting out of hand.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
actually more frightening. That's kind of sad.
Okay.
Here you have this old guy just trying to do his job, and then you have this young couple just decides to hijack him for no reason. So
Another comment coming to us from Nan is people want to manage their anxiety. Americans have been taught to shop to feel better, and I feel that that is entirely true.
yeah, that's very true.
I'd say there's an argument there, but then again, I'm probably not the best judge because I'm not the biggest shopper. So I'm gonna stay silent for that.
Okay. Now, here's an idea. or something else brought to us from the comment section. Again, Nan, who is practically the only person to be commenting on this video. Thank you very much, Nan, for keeping the comment
Thanks,
section going.
Nan.
Thanks, Nan.
Yeah.
What should people do in their spare time? I already have said watch ponies. That's a solid option, isn't it?
I've been
That's
catching
number
up on
one
my
option.
gaming, and I make videos, so yeah. Well, then again, I'm kind of stuck on that right now, but yeah, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I got some videos in the pipeline. One that's going to be about story structure. Because I took a class last semester with somebody who created what is called the DNA story helix, and it can be applied to almost any story, because it has it's a double helix, so it goes kind of like an infinity sign. And on one side of the curve, you have your character's wants, your main character's wants, and then on the other side of it, there's the character's needs. And the character tends to focus on their wants for the majority of the first half, and then start realizing the importance of their needs around halfway through the story. So I'm going to be taking that idea and applying it to the entire first season of Infinity Train.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to be
Interesting.
fun. Yeah. And then the next video is about music in entertainment, because there are good cartoons that give us some amazing musical numbers, but it could be better utilized. Like when you think of the old Disney songs, they smoothly transition into the music, and the songs themselves aren't out of this world. Like in The Little Mermaid, when she's wanting to be part of the world, she's just swimming around her collection. It's not anything outlandish, anything unnecessary. It's just, here's what I wish, here's what I want. And nowadays there's some animations that try to take it to new levels, like with Has-Been Hotel, having that musical number. It was a great musical number, lovely animation, but it didn't really serve the narrative in it. It didn't further the story or inform us of how the characters are going to develop or that kind of thing. So I kind of examined a ridiculous amount of songs in this one video script. And that one's in the pipeline.
I look forward to seeing that, Looney.
Hmm.
I love this comment that's actually come in. Again, Nan. We actually did have someone else comment, but this one comes from Nan. Old lady's got to stay young. Hashtag boomer can learn new tricks.
Yeah, we're always learning new things throughout our lives.
I
Boomers
always
can
find
always
like
learn new
videos
tricks.
where. Do you guys remember? I know this is completely off topic, but do you remember the there's an old video of like there's an old woman crossing the street. And there's this guy in this like convertible, and he's honking his horn, and then all she does is she swings her bag against the front of the car. And the airbags deploy. I'm like, yes. Don't mess with boomers. They're like, I think it was like in England or something. I think it was, and I bet that old woman was like, I survived the Blitz, and I'm gonna be intimidated by you. Good luck. Ugh.
Anyways, where were we?
Back on topic.
Back
Okay.
on topic. So, I'm going to ask this before I do anything with this. Do you guys ever have those songs that you have, like, you know they have an intention, but then you take them entirely differently depending on the situation? Like they have a double meaning or something? Not necessarily a double
song-
entendre, but a double meaning?
I recently watched a video by this guy named Sideways, and he starts out the video by by flatly saying, I think I listened to this song wrong. And he goes over the entire musical theory behind it and how it could be a continuation of Thanos' theme from the previous movie. And at the end, he starts messing around with the first few lines, and he tweaks it ever so slightly. Change it from this wind instrument to a piano, change it from this tempo to this tempo, and he eventually gets to the point where it sounds like Linkin Park's In the End.
Wow.
And that's what he heard when he first heard the song is in the end, which makes sense because it's in a movie called End Game, and this is the last battle that they're going to have. So, it was similar enough that he saw that connection when it might not have even kind of been intended.
Hmm.
So, that question just kind of reminded me of that.
Also,
Interesting.
before we continue, Looney, you've got a question for you in the comment section. Got any links for that story writing model?
You should be able to search for Crit Killin on Google, and then it should be on his IMDb page. He's just a
How do you spell that?
bald
I'll
guy
type
with
it
a
out.
beard. CRITKILLEN.
Okay, there we go. Now, the whole reason that I actually asked that was because with everything going on, there's a song that I sort of took out of context, and that would be "Solidarity" by Prince Whatever.
One of my favorites. I love it.
Lines like, "Tell me what do we do from where do we go from here?
Mm-hmm.
Do we just burn up and disappear? Will you still be there to next to me like you were back in 2013?" I realize that this is completely out of context and completely backwards, but there's that. There's bits like, "Don't tell me it's over, that all things have to end. I think we'll live forever because we're in this together." That last line really, "because we're in this together," stands out to me. Am I just going off on a tangent?
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
No, you're fine, dude.
Yeah. It's also been joined by Atlas Swan, which I believe is Atlas from the Babscon server. So hello, Atlas.
Welcome, Atlas.
Hello, Atlas.
Hey, Atlas.
Now I'm just looking around trying to make sure that everything is accounted for and we haven't really missed any major points.
Of course.
Bearing in mind that we've made some progress with the virus as a whole, do you guys have faith that we'll be able to beat this soon?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I remember just scrolling through Facebook, and I think I read an article that said somebody had also developed a vaccine and was going to begin testing on that.
Oh, nice.
Don't take what I haven't. I heard that's something I heard. Like someone says, we found something that looks extremely promising, and we're going to begin testing and trials to see if this works. So there is hope.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think that was in Canada, I believe, as well.
That might have been. That sounds right. I also heard maybe like soda, maybe I'm not sure, but either like I believe it was you who said like
Canada.
like Canada had isolated the
Canada.
corona,
The Canadians have isolated the coronavirus.
so there is hope.
Yeah.
Good old Canada, always there when you need them. They're like. What's something that like you? I got nothing to describe Canada because I think they're one of a kind.
The better America.
That is debatable. That is debatable.
Let's stay away from
my
them
country.
spicy subject, guys.
I love my country, but apparently Canada just does things 10 times better.
No. I think what it is they're we're. I remember like they're the calm, rational people. They're like if the world's starting to go nuts, they're like, okay, you can talk to us and we can work this out peacefully, or we can let you talk to them. Do you want to talk to them or do you want to talk to us?
No,
I'm fine,
guys.
We'll figure it out.
Guys, I'm gonna I'm gonna pump the brakes real quick because we've got a question from the comment section. I don't know who this is referring to, but Nan has asked, "What does beat this mean, and what does soon mean?"
Beat this and soon.
I think referring to the coronavirus itself. I don't remember who said that, so I'm going to wait for a response from
I think
Dan.
in terms of beat this, I think what we're referring to is just like finding a proper vaccine
Yeah.
that will keep us inoculated from it. Because as of yet, there is still no cure for the flu, but there is a But we do have the means to prevent people from getting.
Yeah.
So
and we do
Mhm.
have ways of helping the weaker among us cope better with that kind of virus.
that's why
Yeah.
we always get yearly flu shots. That's why none of us ever get immune from the flu, but we do have the resources to make ourselves able to help fight it better. We can help like keep it from spreading and in terms of soon, I'm actually thinking like the coronavirus will also start dying down as soon as the heat gets turned. As soon as the heat starts rising, especially because we have had a very cold spring. I'll be the first one to say it. It's been a very cold spring. So
Yeah.
as soon as the weather starts heating up, the disease will I have to open my history brains, but back in the 1920s, funny, the Spanish flu when it was going around, it did take a heavy toll, but it was heavier and took more of a toll in the colder areas rather than in the hotter zones. It was still pretty widespread, but that was due to mainly just unhygienic and ill and what's the word I'm looking for? Ill perfected medical treatments. There it is.
Anyways,
So, yeah,
the
soon.
the comment that follows that up is when we say we think we will beat this soon. So, Joe, you pretty much answered that in terms of finding vaccine and hopefully, I would say
Next few
now
months.
that we've found at least a way to isolate it, we can start testing it. So I'm not going to put money on anything, but I'm going to hope that it would be within the next month or two.
That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm just going to throw this out here just for 1 second, but do you find this odd that these illnesses are coming out during election year? Like, you know,
I saw that.
I saw a post like that. I said, that might actually be true. Like, how's that possible? Like, we always end up coming up with a new flu when it's coming election year. Like, dang.
There was another one I saw where like every 100 years a massive like flu type thing hits. Like 1920 we had the Spanish flu, the influenza. In 1820 we had this type of flu. In 1720 we had this kind of flu.
Anyways,
There's a trend here. Let's follow
Can we
this.
connect the dots here?
okay.
I
So
feel like we're just like those. Go ahead.
Yeah.
so
Well, with situations like that, it's more I think just a coincidence.
a series
than
of
anything
unfortunate
else.
events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I almost feel like we're like those people in like the dark basements and they're like looking at a board with like note clippings and pictures and they're tying like little red strings to
Yeah,
everything.
if you want to find
It's all connected. We're not like that.
Always
No. It's all just completely coincidental. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a funny joke.
No. I have a feeling that we might be trying to sort of stay on topic. Not that I don't love these tangents.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Not a problem. Yeah,
That
I'm
was
sorry.
just
We
out
go.
loud right
We
there.
get something funny and we go off. So
Yeah.
I apologize.
I'm more just trying to think like if there's any last thing, like any words of wisdom that anyone has. I know that I have some, but I want to see if anyone else has anything, like any last, sort of like last words to the audience type thing.
Just for me, just please stay informed. Don't panic. If you want the real information, go to the CDC website where they post like more accurate updates than Twitter, Facebook, because Twitter is full of misguided information because everybody acts like a news reporter. The CDC is the only place you can go right now. More real updated information. So again, stay informed, but stay alert.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just stay healthy, stay hygienic. If you feel sick, just quarantine yourself. Take lots of take the medication. If you want to go see your doctor, go see your doctor. But most importantly, don't panic.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing: is not to panic and let cooler heads prevail.
Keep calm and carry on.
Exactly. Keep calm and carry on. Looney?
I don't have anything to add to that. You guys kind of said what needed to be said.
Now, I'm going to ask one last question because I'm pretty sure I know all of your guys' answers already. But considering part of this reason, or part of the reason that this whole thing came up was because of certain issues regarding certain events in certain areas. Do you guys think that events will be fine in, let's say, 3 weeks? 4 weeks, maybe?
Hopefully.
If they haven't canceled yet, if what you're telling me, I figured they'd be canceled by now. But since they haven't fully said we're canceled, I'm not gonna cancel my flight anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm just kind of staying mum on the situation right now until Babs knows what they're doing. So I'm not making any rash decisions right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to try and, like, draw it out of you guys, but...
No, of course not.
I mean, illness or no illness, if they still have it, I'm going.
Same here. I'm just bringing lots of Purell with me.
And here's the thing. Like this comment says, try to support small businesses. These artists are small businesses, and we need to stick with them.
The vendors.
That was part.
Absolutely.
That was part of the group I was trying to reference in this first intro. What's it called? Like, speech I gave. Now, bearing everything in mind, and bearing in mind the fact that we have a lot going on right now, I just want to say this last word to everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy if you can, and have fun. The live stream's not over, by the way. You guys can keep going if you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Just have fun and don't freak out. And plus, if you can't come to BabsCon, don't worry. I vlogged the whole thing. You'll be with us in spirit.
Yes.
Alright, so no last words?
I'm
sorry.
kind of thinking of doing some live streams at these conventions, just because there are always people who can't go to these events for one reason or another. Maybe it's budgetary, maybe it's
Some sort of emergency situation.
some sort of virus or health problems. So I've always wanted to do something for the people at home. So I'm gonna look into streaming and maybe kind of getting everybody at home involved in some way.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome, dude. That does sound
here's
quite nice.
yeah.
Here's an idea. Or here's a comment from Atlas, actually. Stay positive. Looney, that falls right into your basket, sort of, because you're always
He's
regarded...
the most positive of us.
I try.
He is the most precious turtle.
Yes.
He's a good turtle.
He's a good turtle. He's a good turtle.
Oh. As Rainbow Dash would say, best tortoise ever!
But it's a turtle.
It's a turtle.
They're both green and they have cute little shells and they all go It doesn't matter.
The only difference between them is that turtles are water dwelling, whereas tortoises are in more arid environments.
Turtle.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, unless
You
you
don't want
want
to be dropping a tortoise in any water.
Yeah. You know,
or shooting somebody in Mario Kart. So.
Yeah, that too.
Good
I've
point.
actually got a couple
Very
messages that I'm
useful
going to have to
for
send now after this is all over.
What was that? I'm sorry, you kind of buzzed in on me.
Oh, sorry. I've got a couple messages that it looks like I'm going to have to send after this is over because people are blowing up my Discord and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Babs Parade Online.
I know, that's what I was going to talk about because I had pitched an idea and I hope that this isn't crossing any lines. Nan, please don't yell at me. But one thing that I was sort of trying to get out there was what would happen if we live streamed the convention? Or just recorded the convention and then uploaded it to the
That's what I
YouTube
do.
channel.
That's what I do. The next, I mean, literally, I am replacing AC Race Best at this point for vlogging. Slowly, I'm becoming the #1 vlog.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly, I am taking the title that has been left by legend.
Yes.
But yeah, live streaming, I remember the parade that you did last Yeah, live streaming that could be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have the
I
audience
really
suggest
like it.
I
songs.
especially liked at BronyCon there was actually somebody who had a 360 camera,
Yeah, I remember that.
and that's something that I'd really like if we do a live stream. But
Or at the very least, one of those
Yeah.
selfie sticks that could work.
yeah, it could.
We're coming up with ideas if Babs survive. Well,
Yeah.
there gets postponed.
You know,
That's the
On-
number one thing I'm hoping for. At the very least, I hope they at least, if they say we can't do it in April, but we can move it to another date. That's at the very least I'm hoping they do.
and on that very positive
Yeah,
note,
you know,
I'm going to call the live stream here. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope that you have a nice day, and we will see you soon. I'm sorry if I cut anyone off. Thank you and
No
good night.
problem.
that's okay.